Hey, what's up, guys? It's PB and J. We're back. Me and Brian went to D23 this weekend, so we're gonna cover that for you guys. But Brian, what's up? What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, just flew back like 2 days ago, back to work and everything. Still thinking about like all the stuff we saw. It was pretty fun. So yeah, so I was able to get into the Walt Disney Studios panel, and this is kind of a continuation of what happened in what we talked about last time with having the online reservation pushed out to Saturday. So why don't you tell us what happened with what happened?
Yeah, so in our last episode, we were talking about how we tried to reserve our spot on Friday, and the site didn't work, so they pushed it to Saturday, and that's where we left off. So just an update. On Saturday at noon, we both signed on, and they introduced a queue system like Comic-Con to where attendees they log in, get put into a queue system, and then this one was first come first serve. Comic-Con is random, right? You can log in whatever, and they'll put you in a random order. But this one was first come first serve, and since I left my page up from the day before, I was one of the first ones in. So I go to reserve my spot for the big behind the scenes panel on Saturday, which covers all the movies. And when I hit save, I got a 500 error. It's not quite a crash, but it's definitely a problem. And my reservations all got cleared. So I checked them all again and hit OK, and they sent me a confirmation email that was blank. So I lost all my reservations for the day. I sent an email. I took screenshots, sent an email to the guest relations, and they said that they would try to bump up my priority, and maybe I can get a spot. So, and they responded pretty quick. It was like the next day they responded. So all week I'm waiting for email, nothing. I sent another email just to confirm, nothing. So Brian actually told me, why, because I live right down the street from the convention center. Brian told me to go and talk to them in person. So I go down there on Friday to check, and I go to the help desk and ask the lady about my reservations. And as soon as I said that, she made this face like I'm so sorry. It was obvious that people had been asking her about it all day, and she told me that yeah, it happened to a lot of people. That 500 error happened. I thought it was just me or maybe a few other people, but she said it was a lot of people. That's all she kept saying. It was a lot of people. The best she could do was check my badge just to see if the reservation did get attached to my badge. It didn't. None of my reservations. And I didn't sign up for a lot, really. I just signed up for the movie panel. I think I signed up for the Haunted Mansion panel. And I think a giveaway later in the day. I don't remember. Brian got his reservations, no problem. And you just went on Saturday morning, right? You went like at 9.
Yeah, well, actually, like Connie got on there just like 10 minutes before the thing started, and I was on my computer and on my phone, and on my account I couldn't get in until an hour later.
Right.
So when I got in, there was nothing left.
Yeah.
It was through Connie's account that we were able to get the Disney Studios and some of the giveaways, like poster giveaways.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much it. That was all we could get.
Yeah, and it sucked because I was in quick. It was within 10 minutes. I was in super fast, so I thought I was golden. So the lady at the help desk was like, sorry, if you want to stand in the standby line to get in, you can do that. And if Comic-Con wasn't a month ago and I camped out overnight to get into Hall H, I might have done it. But I was just like, man, I've already camped out twice. I already camped out once this year, sat out there all night. I don't want to do it again. And really, it was for the Star Wars stuff. They had Marvel, and we'll go over that a little bit later. But the Hall H at Comic-Con, the Marvel panel had everything. They had all the announcements, all the huge surprises. So I really wasn't too bummed out about missing that one. And then they go over all the other Disney movies, right? The other animated
Yeah.
movies, Pixar. So I mean, I wanted to see some of that. That's cool. But really, it was Star Wars. That's what I really wanted to see. So I was bummed I missed that. And beforehand, we were talking about if this system was something that Comic-Con would implement later, if it was successful. At first, I thought that, at first I was like, let's see how it works. If it works, great. And it would be a pretty big benefit, right? No more huge lines for Hall H. We have to stand in line for 24 hours. Ballroom 20 has some pretty big lines. And the Hilton, or by the Hilton, are some pretty big lines. So I thought, oh, maybe like something like this. We buy your badges. And you also do this later. It could end the line problem, right? You can go in and just walk up and take your spot. After having my spot lost due to a technical error, I am against it.
Yeah, I was against it from the start because there's too much
Yeah.
randomness in it. And like you pointed out last time, that you can't go in as a group because it's like we're all on our own, right? Like if I get in and you don't get in, then we're gonna be split up that day. So
Yeah.
it kind of sucks. Versus like if you camp out and you wait in line, like if you go in, we go in as a group.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's good and bad to it. I mean, but to me, I think there's more negative. I mean, I'm on the other side where, I was able to get a pass. So I just showed up like 2 hours before and just walked in.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're on the other side, it's great, right? But then if you don't get in, then it sucks.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, most people didn't get in. But actually, it wasn't too bad for the standby. Like if you did want to like camp out that night, you could have gotten in because I thought it would be really bad where they only save like 1,000 spots, in that room out of like close to 7,000 for standby. But there was actually it looked like it was a split half where, if you just showed up when they opened at around 7 p.m. the night before, you could have gotten in. The thing I didn't tell you was that they have a new policy this year. So what happened last time, like 2 years ago, was that people were bringing their sleeping bags and chairs and all that stuff to camp out, right? So the cool thing is like they lead you inside the building, so you're not out in the open like Comic-Con where you're like by the marina and stuff.
Right.
So you do go inside, and people like you're inside the lane and you can just like stretch out and open up your sleeping bag and do all that. But this year they added a new policy where you can only bring things that you can fit into your backpack. So that means no chairs, no sleeping bag, nothing like that. I think that's just to make things easier for security and I don't know. Maybe some people last time were complaining that there's too much stuff like sitting in between the seats for the other guests. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking maybe like you try to sit down in your seat and you got the guy next to you has this huge sleeping bag or a chair, lawn chair, and it's just I mean we've seen that before at Comic-Con too. I mean we've done that. We walk in with our lawn chairs and our coolers that we had our drinks in it, and it's a lot of stuff you drag in there, and you're trying to find a spot for your stuff and there's nowhere to put it.
Right.
You're just holding it in your lap or it's in front of you and it's like people are trying to get in and out of the seats and they're tripping over stuff. So, I mean, we tripped over our cooler once, not everything. I thought they were going to kick us out. But yeah, no, it's crazy. So they said just whatever you have in a backpack, huh? That's it.
Yeah. So two of my friends, they ended up camping out and, because there was nothing like all they could do was use a backpack as a pillow and just lay on a concrete. So it got kind of cold that night. But yeah, that was it. Like you couldn't really do anything. You just stand or just lay on the floor.
Yeah, you can't even have a chair.
Yeah. I mean, I saw some people with those small chairs that you have, the little foldable ones.
Yeah.
Those triangle shaped ones, like you can bring those. As long as it fits into your bag, then you can bring it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I knew I could have gone to standby and stuff, but I just didn't want to after doing it once.
Yeah.
At Comic-Con. But just the fact that, due to something that I didn't do wrong, I wasn't able to get those spots.
That does suck. I mean, you did get it. It's not like you didn't get in and you're trying to talk your way in. Like you had it.
I was there. Yeah, I even had the screenshots and everything. So, And something like this at Comic-Con where, um, it's like, and then there's more to see at Comic-Con during the Hall H, because when you go into Hall H, you're there all day. You're in the hall the whole Saturday, and there's a ton of stuff. It's not just one panel like here, right? This was just the behind the scenes panel. At Comic-Con, you see like, the Warner Brothers panel, and, this year there was a CBS All Access panel, and then you have Marvel and Star Wars, and you're there if you're in the hall for, 8 or 9 hours if you stay the whole day. So to miss that because of a technical, oh man, I'd be so
Yeah.
mad. I'd be so mad. It's a whole day that you miss. So we were talking before, it's almost like standing in that line is that you're putting your work in. You're
Right.
putting your work in, and when you get in, you're like, I earned this. I stood out there, I got in line early, I was out in the heat and then in the cold that night, and I'm in, and I deserve this. And it almost makes it like a reward, and it makes it better. So, yeah, so this reservation thing, maybe they'll keep it for D23 since it's way smaller than Con,
Yeah.
and it's only for one panel, then so I can see it going for in the future. But hopefully I don't see it at Comic Con
Yeah.
or WonderCon or just here, just D23. That's fine. And did they take your phone again? Did they put it in a bag?
Oh yeah, so before they started letting people in, they started handing out bags. Yeah, you have to, like, I have a smartwatch, like an Apple Watch, so I have to put that in the bag too. So nothing that could possibly have a recording device on it or audio, like it has to go in the bag. And it's just like the Marvel panel at Comic-Con where there are a bunch of guys just walking up and down the aisle like in suits, just looking to see if anyone's recording. And they warn you too, like if you get caught, like you're gone, like they're gonna kick you out right away.
Yeah,
So they're not
Comic
gonna
Con.
mess around with that stuff.
Yeah, Comic Con. They kind of like they'll be like, hey, put it down, but they won't kick you out
Yeah,
unless you keep doing it over and over.
right.
But yeah, Disney's like, you're gone. Don't even try.
And I
And
think
they have night vision too, right?
I didn't see it this time. I just saw them walking up and down. I mean,
Okay.
I'm guessing they do. Like there's always someone like watching in the dark or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, when I went the last time I went, they had night vision, and it's not like a huge goggles you see like Splinter Cell goggles. It's just like it's like a one little. It almost looks like a small, like one half of a binocular,
Yeah.
and it's really small. They would just put it up to their eye real quick, but you can see it was night vision. So I mean, they don't mess around.
Right.
You gotta lock your stuff up.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna watch you delete whatever you recorded, and then they'll kick you out. So
Like, give me your shit. Get out of here.
yeah.
So, yeah, so since we're talking about this panel, since you got to see it and you got to see everything, why don't you go through it and, let us know what you saw?
Okay. So the panel was scheduled for 2 hours, but it went about 2.5 hours. So it was split into 5 parts because they own, they have 5 different divisions right now, and they started the show by lightly talking about Fox, but it's just that it's too early, so they don't have anything to bring up. But I'm guessing the next D23 they're gonna have, the 5 studios plus Fox now, so it's gonna be huge the next time they have it.
Yeah, which will be, yeah, cause it'll be in 2 years. So I'm
Right.
sure they'll have stuff cracking by then.
Yeah, so so they split into 5, and they did the whole panel in this order. It was Lucasfilms, Marvel, Disney Studios, live action, Pixar, and then Disney Animation. So for me, I thought the Star Wars and Marvel was like the good parts of the panel. So I thought it was weird that they didn't bookend them to kind of like leave you like excited, by ending by Marvel.
I was gonna ask you about that too. I like they put those right away, right? To start
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I think
It's kind of weird.
yeah, I think it's because they had showed a lot of stuff at Comic-Con already for Marvel, so I think like when the show ended, it made more sense, like how they ended it. So I'll just give you quick spoilers. Like they ended with Frozen 2, and the main cast came out and they sang a song, like a song from the new movie.
Okay.
So that was a cool way to end it.
Yeah.
And that's their big movie for the end of this year, right? So, it made sense. But at the time when I saw like saw them talk about Marvel second. I thought it was a little bit strange. Like they didn't save that for the end.
I mean, but like you said, it kind of makes sense, right? The big reveal stuff was at Comic-Con
Right.
anyways. Just get it out the way.
Yeah. So really quick, for Lucasfilms, like it was only about Star Wars, and they mentioned that Rise of Skywalker is the end of the saga, I guess, for episodes 1 to 9.
Right.
So I don't know what that means for episodes 10, and onward, moving forward. Do you have any idea of what their plan is for that?
From what I'm hearing, the next movies that they got lined up are two separate trilogies. One is by Rian Johnson, who directed The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And they've gone on to say that it's with characters in the Star Wars universe, but nothing to do with Skywalker or Han Solo. Like it's the other part of the galaxy, and that's gonna be a trilogy of these brand new characters. They didn't even say if it's gonna deal with the First Order or even Jedi. I have no clue, nothing on that. And then the other trilogy that they've got working on are by the two guys from Game of Thrones, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. They're developing a trilogy, sounds like about the Knights of the Old Republic era, for those who played the game. So it's like a couple thousand years before the Star Wars movies. So that's all I know movie-wise coming, but nothing's been confirmed. All we know is that Rian Johnson's working on his trilogy, and then the D&D guys are working on their trilogy. But as of right now, there is no episode 10, 11, 12 or anything like that.
Okay, so it's probably not gonna be episode whatever, right?
No.
It's gonna be its own. Okay. Yeah, I wonder how that's going to work because they put out 2 solo movies, pun intended. Solo and last Rogue One, and Solo didn't do that well, even though I thought it was fine. So maybe it's just that there's too many Star Wars film and they need to scale back.
Yeah, I think so, because there was plans for a Boba Fett solo movie.
Yeah.
So, and I think after Solo didn't do well, they pumped the brakes on all those spin-offs, and I think the Boba Fett movie kind of got transformed into that Mandalorian show.
Yeah.
That's what I think what happened. So all those other movies that they were the one-offs they were going to do, they just stopped. And then it'll probably be a couple years after this movie comes out in December.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably going to be a little wait before we see another Star Wars movie.
Yeah. So talking about Star Wars, there wasn't too much to it. The cast came out. J.J. Abrams came out and talked about Carrie Fisher a little bit and how she knew that she was going to be in another film with him. And then they showed the trailer, the one that's out on the internet now.
Right. Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. I mean, everyone got super excited when that lightsaber,
the
dark gray, it became like a staff. Everyone got super excited about that. After that they moved on to Marvel and they brought out the same cast from the Eternals.
Right.
And after that, they didn't say anything. They just came out and just so the fans can see them. And then
I saw they showed the artwork of what their costumes are going to look like, right?
Yeah, yep. It was like a still shot.
And then they announced Kit Harington, right?
Right.
Coming in as the Black Knight, which nobody knows who that character is.
Actually, I don't know anything about the Eternals, so
yeah, the Eternals themselves are a pretty obscure group of characters. They've been around forever, but they never really took off as like a big deal. I've only read a handful of stories with them. Black Knight actually was a big character for a long time, from the 60s to about the 90s. He was in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm. But
over the last 20 years or so, his popularity has just kind of died off. So he actually does have a lot of history with the Avengers, so it's cool that they're bringing him in. And if they do a new Avengers movies down the line, it makes sense for him to jump in. Uh, but I think that's why they went so big on this cast, because the Eternals, nobody knows who they are really. No one knows what they do. So you build this massive cast. So now, like, like my sister, for example, she's a huge Angelina Jolie fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed her that she's in the movie, so she wants to see it, even though she has no idea who the Eternals are. Like, they don't care. Angelina Jolie, Kit Harington, Richard Madden, Don Lee was big in Korea. These are big names, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they're doing that. They're pushing this really obscure franchise and making it a big deal.
Yeah, and the cast is like pretty diverse too, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they even have the deaf actress, right?
Right.
She was on Walking Dead, and it's funny because I watched Walking Dead, and she plays a deaf character, but I didn't know she was deaf.
Yeah.
But yeah, the comic movies look, when they announced it a long time ago, I was like, Eternals, why did they do? But now I'm like, oh man, I can't wait. But that's it, right? They went on stage and then just waved and went off, right?
Yeah, and they show that still, and yeah, that was pretty much it. So they go off the stage, and then the director for Black Panther comes out with Kevin Feige, and they're just like teasing the audience, and Kevin Feige brings out this paper, and he's like, so can I talk about what the movie is, like Black Panther 2 is what it's gonna be called? Because right now it's just called Black Panther 2.
Uh-huh.
So there's no official name for it yet. So the director's like, no, I can't. And then so Kevin's like, what about the villain? He's like, no, I can't say it. So he just kept like saying, like, kept teasing everyone. But then the only thing like they were able to announce was a date, which is May 6th, 2022.
Yeah.
So that's a long.
Oh, dude, that's 3 years, man.
Yeah. Is that still within phase 4, or is that like 5 already?
No, that would be phase 5.
Okay.
So the next 2 years are phase 4, and there's a lot in phase 4, but it's only 2 years. But man, yeah, like why even announce the date? Who cares?
Right. Yeah. I'm more excited about like the villain or anything else besides the date.
Yeah.
Like, it's so far away. Yeah, and they ended with Black Widow. So nothing new there. They did show a new clip. That's pretty much the same like what they showed at Con, where there's a fight with her sister and like some other stuff. But the beginning part it's slightly different. Like that's like unseen footage, but it's almost the exact same shot, like same.
Okay. Same area, same scene, probably.
Same scene, same
Okay.
trailer.
Yeah.
That part's all the same.
Okay. But then that's it. Then they just moved on.
Yeah, they moved on to live action. So I thought this was the best part of the whole panel actually. So they show that they were going to introduce Jungle Cruise, and it just sounds silly, right? So it's based on a ride, and I don't know if you've been on a ride, but that ride is super cheesy. So
Yeah.
it's cheesy on purpose, like the tour guide on boat. Like
Yeah.
these really dumb jokes and stuff. And you see those animals, they're all fake. They're all like robots and stuff. And it's just a silly ride, right? So they're making a movie out of it. And the movie is going to be like over the top, like action movie. So it's going to be similar to like Pirates of the Caribbean, but you're on a boat in the Amazon.
Okay.
So The Rock is in it. And so he comes out, and it's pretty funny because he comes out and he talks like the movie's all about him, and everyone's gonna go watch the movie because of him and nothing else. So he plays a trailer, and it's like all about him in the trailer. Like all the scenes are all about him to make him look good, and then they show like Dwayne Johnson, and his name is like super huge, like it fills up the whole screen. And then they show Emily Blunt, and then her name's like super small. So so they show that trailer, and then like Emily Blunt comes out, and she's like, wait a minute, like that's, this movie is more about like her, and she's a scientist, and she needs his help to go down the river, the Amazon River, to find a plant that has like healing properties or something. And I think that's what the movie is based on.
Okay.
And then she shows her trailer, and it's all about her, like her kicking ass, and like he finds this like deadbeat guy who runs a ship, and it's The Rock's character, you know?
Okay.
So it makes it all about, like, it highlights her, and then when they show the name, like, they show her name first, it's all huge, and then when they show Dwayne Johnson, it's like tiny. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, so I thought that was the best part of the whole panel, actually. It's like they were just like making fun of each other the whole time. Like,
that's cool.
That interaction with the two of them was what made it really good.
Okay.
So I'm guessing the movie's gonna be pretty good in a really silly, like, entertaining way. So
Did it get you like interested to see the movie, like, or you're kind of like, wait?
I'll wait, but yeah, I mean, I think it'll be good. But yeah, it's something I could wait on though.
Okay.
And then they showed, so they brought out Angelina Jolie out again for a Maleficent sequel.
Okay. I know a lot of people are waiting for that one.
Really? I don't know. I didn't watch the first one, and
Oh yeah, that first one was a big hit. A lot of people love that
really?
movie. Yeah. That's actually, money wise, it's her biggest movie ever.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a big, that movie was a big deal.
Okay. So maybe that's why they're spinning off all these like villain movies, right? Cause they also, like, just sidetrack really quick, they're also doing a Cruella movie with Emma Stone.
Oh yeah. I saw the still for that.
Yeah.
Was that announced there?
I don't know if that was where it was first announced, but she wasn't there, but she had a clip of her like saying like, I'm filming in London, and then she keeps telling like someone off camera like to shut up or be quiet and stuff, and it was one of the Dalmatians. So it was just a quick clip, but it was
right.
Yeah, so the movie's just called Cruella. So it's kind of like focusing on how she became who she is.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, yeah, that's like Maleficent. Maleficent was the same thing, how she became Maleficent and stuff.
Yeah. So this one, Michelle Pfeiffer's in it, and she's a queen, for I don't know which kingdom, and it's, yeah, I mean, they showed a few minutes of the clip. I mean, like a pretty long clip of the movie. I don't know. I think I need to see more, because I just thought it was okay. Like, maybe maybe I need to watch the first one to kind of have a better feel for the movie or something.
Okay, yeah. Probably didn't make any sense to you, so showing this footage.
Yeah. And then they showed Mulan. So that one, they showed a pretty long clip of the movie too. It looks cool, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess, for that one. So after that, they went on to Pixar. So that's the fourth one out of 5, and they started with that movie Onward. So you've heard of that movie before, right?
Yeah. I knew about that one before.
So it's basically like a fantasy kind of themed story, but set in the modern time.
Right.
So the two main characters, they're elves. I think they're elves. Let's see. So it's voiced by Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. So they're both like Ian and Barley Lightfoot. So like in the early teaser videos, you don't really know what the story's about, but they kind of went into more detail about what it is. So basically, Ian, which is Tom Holland's character, he's a little brother, and he's never met his dad before because his dad passed away when he was young. So on his birthday, he gets a gift from his dad that was left for them, and it's a staff that says like it can bring the dad back for like 24 hours. But when they try to use it, it kind of worked halfway. So they have to go on a quest to kind of like get the staff working again and bring the dad back. So that's pretty much what the movie is about. But the funny part of that was that Tom Holland came out and with Chris Pratt, and they were just talking about like Marvel and, you know, the Avengers stuff the whole time. At least Tom was. And then the guy from Pixar, like, to me, it looked like he had to like reel him back in to talk about like Onward instead.
Yeah, they're like, no one cares. And the big hubbub about that real quick is for those who don't know, um, the deal between Sony and Marvel that allowed them to use Spider-Man in the Avengers movies fell apart, basically, last week. And as of right now, Tom Holland is no longer connected to the Marvel universe. And so that's why he was up there sad and talking about Marvel the whole time, right?
Right. Yeah, and I saw before D23 that he unfollowed like Sony or something. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's pretty upset about what happened that they couldn't come up with a deal.
Yeah, because he's so like enthusiastic about the whole thing. Like he's genuinely loves it. And part of that's because he's so young. Was he 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he loves everything about it. And then now it's over. And so yeah, he's not hiding it.
Yeah, and well, like he got a really loud response from the crowd too, like when he came out because everyone loves him as a Spider-Man character, and
Yeah,
he was supposed to be like the next Tony Stark, right? From what you told
yeah,
me,
yeah.
right? That was what he was groomed to be. And you saw that in the last movie where he was wearing his sunglasses and he's doing all of that tech stuff.
You're right, right.
But now with the split, if they can't come back and work together again, then they can't link them anymore, right?
Yeah, if they do a Spider-Man 3 that's not connected to Marvel, I'm sure it'll be a crossover with Venom, which I mean that's awesome. I want to see that with Tom Hardy, but they can't mention Stark in any way. They can't mention the Avengers in any way. It would just be them.
Right.
So it's kind of it's just super awkward that it would be a Spider-Man movie with no mention of the Avengers or Stark. That's a big part of the character. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I have a feeling they're still. I mean, they are still working on it. You can go online, you can look that they are still negotiating, and I think it will happen. I think they will fix it because there was a Forbes analyst or somebody like that who was looking at it and it was saying that this whole situation is lose-lose for everybody. It hurts Sony, it hurts Marvel. No one benefits from them being apart. So I have a feeling that it's going to happen. It just might take a little time.
Yeah, from what I saw, it looks like Disney's the one that wants more profits out of the split.
Right.
Because of what they had before. I think it was like Disney would get 5% on all the merchandise or something.
Yeah. It was 5. Yeah, it was 5%. But they called it like 5% first money deal, and or first day. So I think it was only 5% of opening day, something like that. But then yeah, they get the merchandise though.
Yeah, and I think now they want it 50-50 and so if I'm on Sony's side, which I mean, if they ask for 50-50, that's a little bit unfair, right? Because they don't own that property and they're asking for like half of whatever
Exactly. Yeah.
Sony's making. So
I mean, on both sides, the argument's valid on both
yeah,
sides. They just need to find a number. Marvel's saying, we produced this movie for you, and it's your biggest movie of all time.
right.
We should get a little more than 5%. And then Sony's like, that's fine, but not 50. And then it kind of just goes, and then there's a stalemate right there. I read reports that it wasn't 50-50, that it was more 30, that they wanted 30%, Marvel did.
Okay.
But then they would also co-finance. So but then I heard that Sony, from their side, they were saying that Marvel was telling them that Feige, that now that they're getting the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, that Feige's focus will be more towards that than a property that they don't own.
Yeah.
So so they need to be more money, something like that. So there's a lot. You guys can go online and check it out, but there's a lot going back and forth. We probably won't ever know the exact details. But all we know is as a stalemate as of right now, and I still think it'll happen. I think they'll work something out and they'll get it done. The good thing is that since Spider-Man just came out, that there's time before they get cracking on the next one.
Right.
It's not like, oh, it's over, we split, oh, we gotta start filming next week. It's like, no, it just came out, there's a little break, and they can work something out.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they work something out because once they start focusing on X-Men and that means Wolverine and Spider-Man can be in the Avengers, right? Like the new Avengers.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
would be cool.
I mean, we didn't get to see Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman. We didn't get to see that, but I still want to see Spider-Man and Wolverine.
Right.
Even if it's not Hugh, it's someone else. And Marvel, I don't know if you saw, but they said that when they do introduce the new Wolverine, that he's going to be an Avenger.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, well, if he's going to be an Avengers, you got to have Spider-Man in there too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So yeah. So for the movie Onward, it looks pretty good. Like now that I saw more of it,
Yeah.
I'm more looking forward to watching it now.
And it's Pixar. Pixar's quality.
Yeah.
So.
So that leads me to the next movie. They introduced, it's called Soul, Soul, and the way they introduced this movie was the same way they talked about Inside Out, where it's one of those like really obscure movies where you don't know too much about it.
Right.
And so like when you hear a concept, you're like, this sounds weird, right? Like, so like Inside Out was about like your feelings, right? So this one is about, how when everyone's born, they have like their attributes, their characteristics are all ingrained into their soul. So so like the characters look like a ball with like a face and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. But, before they get into that, like they talk about, the movie being about a guy who's a music teacher, but he's trying to get his break as a jazz, musician in the jazz band. And it looks like after he gets his big break, he falls into a manhole and he dies, I think. At least that's what it made it look like.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole soul part takes place. But that main character was voiced by Jamie Foxx. So he came out and he was trying to like get everyone all riled up and stuff. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, so that's what that movie's about. Again, this is like one of those like weird concepts from Pixar, and it's gonna sound weird until you watch the movie, then it'll be like the best thing ever once you watch it.
You just gotta trust the process, right?
Yeah. So the last thing was the Disney animation. So they introduced this new movie called Raya and the Last Dragon. So it's based on Southeast Asia with dragons, and it's about a girl called Raya, and she has to go to these different villages, and each village is different. So it's more like an adventure, like an RPG type thing where she has to go to 5 different regions to collect, something. It's like a stone or something to awaken a dragon or something like that. So the animation looks really good. But I have to see more for that one.
Right.
Yeah. And the writer is, the one who took the book, Crazy Rich Asians and adapted it to film. So she's doing this project.
Oh, okay.
So she's working with Aquafina, and she's voicing one of the dragons.
Okay. So there's some heavy hitters behind this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to focus more on like the Asian culture and stuff. So it looks like they're aiming towards that for the next 2 years with that one and like the Shang-Chi and stuff. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after that, you said it was Frozen, right? That was
Yeah. So Frozen 2 was the last one. So they introduced 2 new characters. So in the flashback, they're going to show like, their mom, which is voiced by Evan Rachel Wood. So they show a little clip of that. And then, the other person is Sterling K. Brown. He's in Black Panther, right?
Yeah, that guy's blowing up. He's in a lot of stuff now.
Yeah. So he's voicing like one of the soldiers.
Okay.
And the panel ended with the main cast like singing a new song from the movie. So that was cool. And that was it. That was the end of the panel. It was pretty long. I mean, there were some parts where it started feeling a little bit long.
Yeah.
But overall, it was pretty good. I mean, there was a lot of stuff. They really wanted to show some stuff to kind of get people excited about all the new stuff that's coming out. other than just talking about it. They were showing long clips, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we were
um,
talking about that before that they used to split up the movie panel with Pixar. Pixar used to be on Friday,
right.
and now it's together. So that's probably why it was so long.
Yeah.
I noticed that too when because I was walking around the floor and I didn't hear from you till 12:30,
Right.
and I was like, man, is are they just can't get out? Are you guys like is that crowded? You can't get out of the room, or I didn't know if it was running long. I didn't know. But yeah, that's a long panel, man. 2.5 hours.
Yep.
I know.
Um,
I know that Comic Con, the longest panels only go 2 hours.
yeah,
Uh,
even the Marvel one was like an hour and a half, right? It
yeah,
wasn't 2 hours, two
that
and a
was
half.
only 90 minutes. And the 2 hour one is normally Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is a lot of sub studios, so it's like Warner Brothers, Lionsgate, blah 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 blah. So it's
Yeah.
not just one. Uh, but yeah, man, 2.5 hours. That's a long time. But since Brian was in the panel and I wasn't, I was walking on the floor, and it was funny because it was so quiet. The floor was so quiet, and I remember thinking like, man, did it sell out? Like it said it was sold out, but I mean, I was walking around with no issue, no lines for anything, and it was because you guys were on the panel. Once you guys got out of the panel, it just boom, and the whole place filled up. I mean, 7,000 people, that's a lot of people.
I think the Simpsons panel was going on at the same time at the arena too.
Yeah, yeah, there was two things going on. So, and the arena, I don't know how much it seats. It's a couple of thousand people too. So let's just say a cool 10,000 people just got released at the same time, and
Yeah.
then the place livened up. Then it got loud. Then the lines got long, and there was a lot more buzz, and the energy. Then the energy came up too, because I was just walking around, and it was like, oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. No one was really, amped up or anything. Um, but I got there about 9:30, and the first thing I wanted to do, I wanted to sign up for Disney Plus, because there was a convention exclusive. If you signed up for 3 years, it was only $4 a month. So I went to check it out. Didn't sign up though because I want the bundle, which is Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for $12.99 a month. And I asked one of the employees there if they had the bundle ready, and she said no. The best bet for me is to wait until launch day, November 12th, and sign up then. Especially since I already have ESPN Plus and I prepaid the year, so there would be some they would have to go in and do some math on there and see if I get a discount or whatever. But they got to link my account, so they just weren't able to do that at the booth there. It was just Disney Plus, and that's it. So I stopped there first, and then I went up to the Avatar room. That was really cool. They had a lot of props and stuff from the movie. They had busts of all the characters there that they sculpted, and that was kind of the reference for the animators. And they had a couple statues and some photo ops. You can take a photo of, it looks like one of the big creatures was going to run you over. And then they had a video screen of the Avatar world in Orlando.
Hmm.
Um, it has like the Banshee ride and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that looks really cool. I do want to get down there one day. When I was there in 2015, that's when they debuted it, and and then they went through the whole park, and it looks super cool. Like, you go in during the day, and then when you can come back at night, and everything there, it was real big on the bioluminescence,
Yeah.
like in the movie. So it changes. It's almost like two different parks. You walk through, you leave footprints on the ground, just like in the movie, and everything's light. You go down the river, and there's lights everywhere. And then the Banshee ride is supposed to be like just amazing. So I definitely want to get down there eventually. I just got to find uh, a good time of the year with good weather. Like right now, it
Yeah.
would just be terrible. And
Right.
my cousin went to school in Florida, so he's kind of got the inside track on that. He can let me know when's the good time to go. But that was a really cool room, and you went up there later, right?
Yeah. It was cool. Yeah. Your sister's a big fan, right? Didn't she?
Oh yeah.
Wasn't she joking about telling you to steal one and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. I was taking pictures of the bus of like Jake Sully and stuff, and she was like, "Just grab one and go. Just grab one and go. You're fast. You're in shape. You can make it." And I was like, no, there's cops right there.
Yeah, that's probably why they put it on the second floor so you
Yeah.
can they have time to stop you and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, oh shoot, you gotta go. It'd be funny. You grab a bus to run, and you go on the escalator. You just go. Hey, stop that guy. So, yeah, definitely cool that that little maquettes that they sculpted, and some of it was still concept art too, so they don't look exactly like it came out in the movie. So, pretty cool area. Then they had couches in there. You can sit down, just kind of enjoy that. And then the lighting was really cool. So it had a pretty good atmosphere in there. Like you could just kind of got up. You could have went in there, sat down, charged your phone, just hung out in there, and they didn't kick you out or anything. So it was actually a really cool setup. I can see why they did move it upstairs because it was kind of like its own thing. And then after that went down and I was walking around the floor and but they had a lot of cool booths and stuff. They had like the Pixar booth where you can take pictures, in front of like the Toy Story house and Up and stuff like that. Wall-E, and you got your pic. You got a poster there, right?
Yeah.
And that was for Onward.
Yeah. So we signed up. So this is through the online reservation. So we signed up to get a poster for Onward and Frozen.
Okay, yeah. And there's a lot of cool stuff. There was there was one big booth. I don't know if you saw it, and it had a bunch of costumes from the movies.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
saw.
that had did you go into it or no?
You're talking about the Marvel Studios one or a different one?
No, it was a Disney one, and it was kind of blocked off.
Oh, that was like for heroes and villains or something,
Yeah,
right?
Heroes and Villains. Did you go in that one?
I didn't go into it. There was an opening, so I just looked in from
Yeah,
outside.
I did the same thing. I wanted to see what was in there. It looked cool. Like there was a lot of cool, actual costumes, but the line was really long.
Yeah.
And you can kind of go in and just kind of, wander around and they don't kick you out or anything. So you can take your time. And so they weren't letting people in consistently. It was like when people left, they would let people in. So it was kind of looked like it would take a while. So I didn't get in that line, but I did. I peeked in and I saw some stuff from Cruella de Vil. I saw her costume from the 101 Dalmatians movie.
Like the original one?
Yeah, with Glenn Close.
Glenn Close, yeah.
Yeah, so I saw stuff and I was like, oh man, I want to go in there, but that line was already long. And then when you guys got out of your panel and the Simpsons one got out, it got even longer. So I didn't do that one. And then I went through the artist alley, and it's a great artists that are officially licensed by Disney, and they were painting and doing demos. That was really cool. But I think the coolest booth I think was the Avengers Campus booth. And that's the one that's going to be at Disneyland opening next year. That one they had a layout of the Avengers Campus, and the guy wasn't there when you guys got in there. But the guy was in full character, like if he was actually in the Marvel Universe, and he was explaining the Avengers Campus as if it was real. So he was like, oh, here's the Guardians ride, the Guardians escape. And then you go down a little bit and this is the Avengers headquarters where, Black Panther and Iron Man and Captain America go to rest and relax. And then they have a Quinjet parked on the roof and you can see it. And I'm guessing that's going to be where like the photos are, when you go in there at Disneyland.
Yeah.
You'll have the people dressed up as their characters.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, and this is where they hang out. It's the main headquarters for our Avengers where they can go and rest. And then across the way is Hank Pym Technologies, and they're trying to work on ways to, technology to help end world hunger and all that stuff. And that's where they had that big diorama of that giant pretzel from the giant soda. Yeah, and that was really cool. But that's going to be the restaurant / brewery in Disneyland or in Avengers Campus. That's where you get your food and drinks. Then he's like, across the way is Doctor Strange's sanctum, where he practices the mystic arts. So I'm assuming that's going to be like a show area, where they're going to have magic shows and stuff. And then south of that was, they called it Web, and there was something, worldwide engineering something, and he was like, this is where Peter Parker and Tony Stark invent new technologies for the world. And that's going to be the Spider-Man ride, it's going to be the big, huge ride at Avengers Campus. They had the concept art up on the wall, and then they had a little creature, right? You saw that little creature that was like
Yeah.
it was like a puppet that was interacting with people, and then that's from the Guardians ride. And then they had plans up on the wall, so you can see what's coming and Avengers Campus. And then the other side of the wall it was like the interactive screens that like in the movies that Tony Stark has his monitors up and he's like scrolling through his files and he's spinning around his armor, and on the computer. And they had a wall set up like that too. Where you can like touch screen and like look at the armor and the Quinjet and all that stuff. So that was really cool. I think that was the best booth, I thought. The actual Marvel booth was cool too. They had all the costumes from Endgame. That was really cool. I don't know if you guys went there and took pictures or anything of that one.
Yeah, I did. It was cool. They had a lot of Black Widow costumes, like different versions of it there.
Yeah, they had like every movie, right?
Yeah.
And it had like a version, her costume from every movie. And
Yeah.
they had the fat Thor suit. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and they had the axe hammer too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that Stormbreaker there. So that was cool. That was actually unexpected. And there was a lot more. Unfortunately, I had to leave early that day. I had a fantasy football draft I had to get to, so I left around 3. So I got like half a day. It was a good 6 hours, so it was still a lot. I saw a lot, but I didn't get to see. There was stuff later in the day, like there was that Marvel panel that we wanted to go to, and I didn't sign it. So I don't know if did that one need a reservation too?
Yeah, it did. So we actually got a reservation for that one, but we got there a little bit late, so we couldn't get in. And we didn't get there early enough to get into the standby line. But it looks like they let in a lot of people from the standby line. So, yeah, I think if you stuck around, you would have gotten into that one.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to do the standby for that one, and they gave out that limited edition comic.
Yeah.
It's already selling online, right?
Right. Yeah, people were putting it on there for like $200 or something.
I would have kept it, but
Right.
yeah. So I had to leave, but D23, it's not huge. It's not a massive convention, but there's a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff, especially now that has Marvel and Star Wars and Pixar and all of it. There's something for everyone. So I know I was talking to my sister and her husband, and they want to go to the next one, especially since their daughter will be about 3, almost 3 at the time. And so, it'd be fun for her to see. And, they were actually kind of mad. They're like, how come you didn't tell us about this one? And I was like, because you guys never go. But it sounds like they'll go and they'll have a good time. So everyone, there's so much there that pretty much anyone, if you watch movies or TV and stuff, that you're going to have a good time. So I always recommend D23. It does kind of suck that it's every 2 years.
Right.
Because like this year I had to leave early, and then I'm like, now I got to wait another 2 years where I can go back. And we both only went Saturday, but Friday had some big stuff, right? They had the Disney Plus panel, which I thought was going to be, a big deal, but it turns out to be a huge deal, right?
Huge deal.
That was a massive panel.
Yeah. I think that was the main panel that they focused the entire show on. Not so much.
So
I think they focused on the movie one too, but they went all in on the Disney Plus panel.
Yeah, and then that Disney Plus booth was massive. That thing was huge, where you can go sign up, and they had all these stations to sign up, and then they had people up there on the stage talking, about what's coming to Disney Plus and everything, and so that they put everything on that streaming.
Did you see the room to the side where you can sit down and they'll have someone demo how the UI is gonna look and everything?
Yeah, I did see that. I went in there, but it was in between demos.
Yeah.
And I probably should have just sat down and just waited, but I was like, and I just left.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were gonna demo the actual app itself, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty, like there's not going to be as much stuff as like Netflix or anything, but the interface does look like really clean, and you get to choose by either Marvel or like Nat Geo and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So you can sort it by category. So that's pretty cool.
And neither of us were in the Disney Plus panel, but we can kind of go through real quick what they debuted. It was a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's a big deal.
Yeah, so they're going to have it looks like it's a show. I don't know if it's a show or movie, but it's like a spin-off of Monsters Inc. called Monsters at Work.
Yeah, it's a show.
Um, it's a show, okay.
Yeah.
And then so I'm skipping a lot of stuff, but for Marvel, um, they show some stuff at Comic-Con already, but they're introducing some more new shows, like Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Moon Knight. So I don't know too much about Miss Marvel except for I only know her from Ultimate Alliance 3. This girl that has a giant hand, right?
Yeah, so Miss Marvel is an Inhuman, and her powers is that she's a shapeshifter, kind of like Reed Richards.
Mm-hmm.
And she can grow big, like she doesn't stretch like him. She can grow big and small. So she'll grow like her hand huge, and she can sock something, or she can grow to like 20 feet tall and stuff like that. That's a big deal. She's the first Muslim character. She's Pakistani in the comics, and so she was the first one to have her own comic book, and now she'll have her own show.
Okay.
And the character has gotten really popular over the past few years because what she was a fangirl, just a super fangirl. She loved the Avengers, loved superheroes, knows everything about them. And then being an Inhuman, her powers kicked in later, and she got powers and and so she became a superhero and she became Miss Marvel since Carol Danvers at that point had become Captain Marvel, and that was her favorite hero. So when you read her comics, it's pretty funny because she'll geek out over all the heroes. She's almost like, if it was one of us,
Yeah.
and Iron Man's standing in front of you, and she's just geeking out about him. So that one had actually they were talking about that show for a long time. The rumor at the time was it was going to go on ABC, probably like next to Agents of Shield and stuff.
Not with the Inhumans, the ABC show.
No, that one didn't happen. That one doesn't exist. But yeah, there was talks of it going to ABC for a long time, and then just kind of talks went away. But now I know why that didn't come. That they were waiting for Disney. They knew Disney Plus was in the works and stuff, and so it makes sense to go Disney Plus. I think it's a good spot for it. And then super surprise for Moon Knight and She-Hulk. Like I did not see those coming at all. Especially She-Hulk because the rights to the Hulk are all messed up. They're all tied together with Universal. That's why the Hulk can't have his own movie. He can only be in other characters' movies. And it also pertained to the Hulk characters, She-Hulk, Abomination, all those guys. So turns out, I guess they can do it on streaming. I guess it's not. I read somewhere that it was a possible loophole that it's not a movie, it's a streaming service on TV, so therefore it's different. So having She-Hulk in her own show is really cool because she's a really cool character. I've liked her a lot for a long time. Read her books for a long time, and the Hulk will have to show up on her show. She gets her powers from Bruce Banner, and she's his cousin, so you really can't ignore the Hulk. So I was super surprised when they announced She-Hulk. I didn't think it was even possible, to be honest. And then Moon Knight is really, really cool. I guess since they can't use Daredevil for now, since it's a 2-year wait,
Yeah.
bringing in Moon Knight. And Moon Knight is a super dark character. He's basically Batman if Batman was insane. This guy is he's super crazy. Kevin Feige kind of, if you've watched the highlights, he said that the whole mystery of that character is that does he have powers or is he just insane? And even he doesn't know. And they already said that show was going to be darker than Daredevil, that's really dark because Daredevil was really dark. So super excited about those shows. And I didn't think they would drop 3 new shows, maybe 1,
Right.
not 3. But I did read beforehand though that Marvel had they just said that Marvel had big plans for that panel. And that's all they would say, just big plans. And I thought maybe 1 more new show, especially because at Comic-Con they debuted 4 shows. Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye. And then here we go. They just added 3 more. So that actually made me on Friday go, oh man, I should have gone. Dang, I should have went. I should have bought a ticket for Friday. But then they also had Mandalorian, right? They dropped the first trailer.
Yep.
And
And also Cassian Andor. What is that one about?
yeah, it's Cassian Andor. It's the guy from Rogue One. So it's a prequel series.
Okay, but it's not. Oh, it's the one with Diego Luna, right?
Yeah.
That character you played.
Yeah. I don't think that one is even. I don't even think they started on that one though. That one's a ways off.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looking at I gotta look at the site here since we weren't there.
Well, there's also a new season of Clone Wars.
New Clone Wars. Yep. Um, they can finish off that series, and then they're bringing back High School Musical, which when that was at its prime, that was a huge show. Remember that? About 10 years ago.
Yeah, I never watched it though.
Yeah,
So
I didn't either. Yeah, I don't know anything about it and stuff, but I know it was a huge hit. It was a massive hit when it was out. And Lizzie McGuire, that's another one. That was a massive show, and they're bringing her back, and it's Hilary Duff again. So, let's see, Phineas and Ferb are back. They have a movie. I never watched that either. I think I was already a little older. And Forky from Toy Story is getting his own show. Oh no, it's shorts. Looks like there's gonna be little shorts. So a lot of stuff for that Disney Plus panel on Friday. They're really putting this streaming service out there.
Yeah, and I think they have a pretty good start, right? I mean, the site crashed, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they want to get that fixed right away and sign up as many people as possible.
Yeah. So and also for those who don't know, there's a deal at D23. If you signed up for 3 years, the price went from $6 a month to $4 a month. So it's basically like $140 for 3 years. That's super cheap. Now that's available until for everyone up until September. But if you try to sign on, I don't know about now, but early in the day I tried to sign on, it was dead. The site was dead, and it had Wreck-It Ralph on there saying sorry. So maybe it might be up now, or it might be might have to wait a few days, but yeah, it's a good start. I know I'm gonna get it for sure. November 12th is the launch day. Now I'm gonna sign on to get that bundle, and I can start. And then Mandalorian's a launch show. Oh, and I didn't know if you saw this, but they're not gonna release their whole seasons at once.
So meaning it's gonna be weekly or what?
Yeah, they're gonna be weekly.
Okay. In a way, that's good. Like it takes away the pressure of having to binge it all at once.
Yeah.
You can space it out.
Yeah, and then also the problem with binging is that you burn right through it, so you don't get that excitement and that anticipation.
Right.
Like the ultimate example is Game of Thrones.
Right.
Where you saw the episode ended on Sunday and you were like, oh man, that was amazing. And then you had a whole week to let it stew. And you just think about what's going to happen, what's going to do. And you're talking about it with your friends and your family. And you're like, oh, that was so crazy. Whereas when you binge it, you just go, oh, next episode. And you just go right into it. And then, and then you want to hurry up and watch all of it so you can talk about it with your friends and stuff. So there's good and bad. There's good and bad, right?
Yeah.
But Hulu does that too. They release not all the shows, but some of the shows they release weekly. So, for instance, this year, Veronica Mars, when they launched Veronica Mars, that was all out at once, so you can binge it. Last year, they had a show called Castle Rock, and that was a weekly show. It was every Wednesday. So, I mean, I like both ways. I like waiting for the week. Like I said, you get to sit about it and think about it, and you really build on anticipation. But when you're out the whole season, you can watch at your own pace. You can watch when you're free. You can watch whenever, and you can finish it really fast if you want, or you can space it out if you want. So, it's up to you. But but they pointed that out that the Hulu Plus, I mean not Hulu Plus, the Disney Plus shows are going to be weekly. And I think that's it. I didn't look up anything for Sunday. Did you?
Sunday was mainly about the theme parks.
Okay.
But I didn't look into too much about it. I just know that they're going to do a lot of stuff at Epcot. They're going to add new rides and make a lot of changes to it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Same thing. I didn't really look into it. I'm sure that. The panel was cool. The last time I went to they had the theme park panel on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely was cool. They showed all the stuff coming to Disneyland, the Avatar Land, and it's not just Disneyland, but like Disneyland in Hong Kong, Disneyland. Right. It went over everything. So, and at the time, this was 2015. I hadn't been to Disneyland in years, long time. And after going to that panel, I was like, man, I kind of want to go.
Did they announce Galaxy's Edge back then, or they?
Yeah, that had already been out. That was already out.
Okay.
So, I mean, that was definitely one I wanted to check out. But when they went over all the other new stuff, I was like, oh, maybe I should go back to Disneyland and check it out. And then now that Galaxy's Edge is out, which I want to go to real bad, and Avengers Campus will be next year, which of course I'm going to want to go check that out. Probably a lot. So I'm going to get it passed and stuff. But I didn't really look into Sunday because there was all the big news had already dropped. So I just kind of let Sunday go. But I think it was a lot of the theme park stuff. And I think a lot of behind the scenes art stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, D23 is a lot of fun. I recommend, pretty much anybody. I mean, who doesn't like Disney and Star Wars and Marvel, right? Like you'll have a good time.
There's at least one thing that you'll like, right?
Yeah.
All the stuff they have.
So what do you think, Brian? Would you recommend people to go to D23?
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's a lot, it's not as crazy as Comic-Con. And everyone's cool there. They're all Disney fans. So,
yeah.
The vibe there is really chill. It's not just, people don't get too crazy or anything.
Yeah, everyone's there and there's a lot of kids. So I think a lot of people don't, they don't want to get crazy. Their kids are there. So they're not trying to be jerks.
Right.
And everyone's kind of, everyone wants everybody to see everything and have a good time. And also kids get a lot of perks too. Like when I was walking through, the Marvel with the movie costumes, this family walked by with a little girl. She was probably 5 or 6, and the employee handed out a pin to her, gave her a pin, just for her because she was a kid. And those pins are a big deal, right? They're exclusives, and people go nuts for them. And she just kind of tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Here you go." And the little girl was like, "What?" And her mom was like, "What?" And she was here. And then, have a good show. And the little girl was like, "Oh my God." She has a little Marvel Disney pin. That was cool. So the kids, they take care of the kids there too.
You can bring your niece or something, or your nephew.
Oh yeah. Next time in 2 years, I'm taking my niece, and then I have two nephews and another niece that's older. So if it's free or cheap to get them in, we'll take them. Get all that free swag.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. I think we covered as much as we could. I mean, all the stuff we saw. I know there's way more we didn't get to see, and we can't really comment too much. But it was fun. I wish I didn't have to leave early to go to fantasy football. I mean, that was fun too. But when I go to these conventions, I like to go all day, and I try to squeeze in as much as possible. And even going to like dinner afterwards at one of the restaurants by Disneyland, that's fun too. So.
Speaking of that, I ended up going to Ballast Point. I didn't know that was there in downtown Disney.
Yeah, it just opened.
Right.
Maybe like a year or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I went there a couple months ago. Pretty cool. It's a pretty cool spot.
Yeah.
Did you get food?
I did. got a beer and got some food there too.
That was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what I got, but it was pretty, I think I just got appetizers or something, but they were good. So that's just, yeah, it's brand new. But, yeah, I think that's it for me. My D23 this year is a success, and, can't wait for the next one. So, is there, anything else you want to drop in there, Brian?
No, I think we got everything covered.
All right, so we'll be back next time, and we'll try to get Patrick in here. Try and get some inside info on Veronica Mars that just came out on Hulu a couple months ago. So we'll see you guys next time.